Hello, this is the weekly water outlook for April 20th, 2014. I want to wish you a happy Easter. Spring-like conditions are occurring over many parts of the area, and it just feels very nice out there with warmer temperatures and all the foliage beginning to really blossom. Now, if we look at where the precipitation was the last 7 days, you can see areas in yellow were the more significant precipitation. So mainly the southeast U.S., that area in red is 5 inches or more along the immediate Gulf Coast. Generally speaking, the western half of the nation was very quiet with below normal precipitation, once again very dry over the southwest U.S. Now, Texas, I mentioned Texas and Oklahoma, that the eastern part of the region could get some enhanced precipitation, and it did. You can see that area of green, a half inch to an inch, still pretty scattered. I wouldn't call it widespread. And then central and western parts of the state, for the most part, were quite dry, especially central and western parts of Oklahoma. Upper Midwest, some modest rainfall as well over Iowa into Wisconsin. If we look at percent of normal precipitation, as we get into summertime, we're going to have a lot more scattered type look and feel of precipitation, but you can see in the western U.S. very, very dry. The southeast U.S., that purple is above normal, and everywhere else it's very scattered. Kansas, Oklahoma is trending dry, upper Midwest trending dry, and then that area in the Great Lakes into Iowa a bit above normal. Temperatures, another cool week, and primarily due to areas of clouds and rain. The western U.S. was warm, that's that area in yellow. And the upper Midwest quite cool as well. But we do see some changes. I see some changes on the way. Still a bit of snow on the ground. You can see in the very far upper Midwest a bit of snow. This is water equivalent. A couple spots heavy, but generally speaking, I think the snow season is over at this time. So this might be the last time I talk about that, but there is a little bit of snow there still lingering. If you want to take a look at stream flow, red is below normal stream flow, blue is above normal, and there's always a direct correlation between stream flow and precipitation. That's obvious, but I think this shows the longer term trends. And if you look at Iowa, Missouri, parts of Illinois, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, in that region, red is well below normal stream flow, and that's indicative of the longer term negative or dry anomalies of precipitation. Now, if we look up here in the upper Midwest, we see this area of blue has been very active, snow in that area. And then the southeast more recently has been very active as well. So, and then of course the west very dry. But that's indicative of these longer term precipitation patterns over the last month or so. Now the jet stream this week, first of all, note how far north it is. Blue is early this week, green's later this week. We basically have one system coming through right here. And I don't know if you heard the statistic, but it's been the slowest start of tornado season since record keeping has begun. And look at this, the jet stream is already lifting up to the north. Normally we're in the peak of tornado season. We see these systems digging well to the south. They're bringing a lot of energy down here and up through the Midwest, maybe even the parts of the south. But right now the jet stream is well to the north, and the energy is to the north, and that's going to keep it fairly quiet over the southern portions of the U.S. and keep it below normal as far as severe weather. Now this Thursday we have a system moving through the middle part of the week over the central part of the U.S., over the east later this week. Just one system going through. It doesn't look all that vigorous to me, but look at this. Look how far the path of the low is. Minnesota. Normally it's going to be down here in Oklahoma pushing up towards the northeast. So right now, at least into the core of the spring severe weather season, it's beginning to look more and more like late spring, and I don't really see a whole lot of change to that. So at least in the foreseeable future, it looks pretty quiet. That doesn't mean we're not going to get severe weather, but it just looks to me that we're going to be continuing this below normal trend. Now Wednesday, here's the jet stream anomaly. I want to go through sort of the jet stream from the big picture, to give you the big picture, and then I'll look at the actual impacts. But where you see areas of blue, that means that the jet stream is further to the south or dipping to the south. If you see areas of brown, that means the jet stream is ridging up to the north. And generally, blue is going to correspond with cool temperatures. Brown is going to correspond with warm. So this is the current pattern for this week. And you can see generally we have this ridging over a large part of the central U.S., which is going to mean warmer temperatures and generally below normal precipitation, except for limited areas. If we go out to 6 to 10 day, look at this. You don't see much shading. It's all shaded in white. Very normal. Very benign for the most part. That doesn't mean we're not going to get precipitation or maybe even some severe weather, but it should be isolated and it looks like a quiet type period. 11 to 15 days, we get this brown shading. It's saying that the jet stream again is pushing up to the north, and that's going to bring warmer temperatures again. And again, with this type of pattern, you usually don't see a widespread type of severe weather. You need more vigorous upper energy. So here's your rainfall forecast the next 7 days. It looks like the southeast U.S., which has been very, very busy recently, the last month, it looks like that's going to quiet down. The Pacific Northwest will be quite active, and it really looks like the main show this week is going to be some rain, heavy rain over this region right here, the upper Midwest. Very small area of snow really way up here. That looks like that could be the action. And that's going, with that front, that's going to dip down and bring some needed rain into eastern Oklahoma and parts of northern Texas and surrounding states. So it's really needed in this region here. It's actually needed in this area from Nebraska and Iowa as well. So this could be a week of needed precipitation and welcome precipitation in areas that need it. I don't know if it's going to be all that widespread, but any rain that falls in that area is going to be welcome. So let's go through our sequence of temperatures and precipitation for the next 2 to 3 weeks. As far as this week, temperature, remember I said that ridge is going to be pushing up to the north. We have browns here, so much of the nation above normal temperatures except for the far southeast U.S. April 25th through 30th, we get a little bit of cool air pushing down behind that system, so that's going to impact the upper Midwest. Rest of the area above normal temperatures in the south. And then we go into late this month into early May. Remember how I said that's sort of a benign jet stream pattern? Look at this, temperatures, average. So at least if the models are right, it looks like we're trending towards a very average, typical type period coming up. As far as the forecast for precipitation, I mentioned it'd be a quiet week this week, a lot of yellow. The 26th through May 3rd, again, I don't see strong anomalies one way or the other. And if anything, it's maybe trending dry, but generally near normal. And then we get the soil moisture change for this week. And really, I think the biggest trend we're seeing here is a significant drying over the southeast U.S. And the southeast U.S. has been sort of vulnerable towards flooding. And with this, it's going to give it a little bit of a reprieve and pull it back from that vulnerability. Now, as far as the weekly hazards outlook, I did want to mention there is a chance of heavy rain on the 23rd and 24th over the upper Midwest. The areas in purple represent some flooding possibilities. So right now it looks like at least the heaviest rain is going to be in this region, but like I showed you before the forecast, I think it's going to pull down into this area as well, just not as heavy. So your takeaway points, it looks like here we should be talking about vigorous systems, big spring, severe weather outbreaks, but it looks like we were looking at a heavy rain event north, central, Midwest, but overall it looks a pretty quiet week over most of the nation, trending warmer, and right now I just don't see a real vigorous type weather pattern over the next couple weeks at least, and that can change this time of year, but right now it looks like from a national perspective fairly quiet, especially for a time of year that could be very busy. Hope you have a nice week. I'll be providing another briefing next weekend.